beauties, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Becky and I like to give tips for beginners makeup and random vlogs. If you are not new here, welcome back. Today's video is going to be about complexion as far as contour and highlight. So if you're interested, then keep on watching. In my last video, I already gave you some information or some tips on how to apply your foundation. So in this video, we're going to do highlight and contours. There are specific contour products that come in little tubs like these or in stick form, which can be blended with a kabuki brush, but I actually use concealers and I'll show you how. So here I have three different colors, three different tones of concealer. The brand is L'Oreal in the Infallible Full Wear, but again, we're not focusing on the brands, although I will tell you that these are my favorite. But we do have three different tones. So this one right here is probably about 3 to 4 shades darker than my skin tone, and I'm going to use this as my contour. This one is about 2 to 3 shades lighter than my skin tone, and I'm going to use that as highlight. And this one is about 1 shade darker than my skin tone, and I use that for dark spots or for dark circles under the eyes. Now, just a side note, doing makeup on somebody else, please do not use this applicator directly on your client's skin. You should be using disposable, but of course, if you are a professional, then you already know this. So I'm going to start with the shade that is closer to my skin tone. And I'm just going to put that on these little dots right here. This was a pimple that I decided to play around with. I know I shouldn't do that, but I do like to cover those up just for a little more coverage with a tone that again is closer to my skin tone. And then what I do is I put that right here in my under eyes. Although I do not have dark circles, I do have this little bag area right here. So I like to use a medium tone to kind of hide that area a little bit. So if you have dark circles, this is just a little tip on getting a concealer a little bit darker than your skin tone, maybe 1 shade, and covering it up with that, or something that is closer to your skin. Concealer is not as thick as foundation, or is not as heavy as foundation, so that's why we use it in our eye area. Before I put on my contour, I'm going to add a picture here that is going to be like a little blueprint on where to put your contour. The placement of the contour is going to be depending on your face shape. And again, this is just a little blueprint. No two faces are the exact same. So you might have characteristics of 2 to 3 different face shapes. In my case, my face is oval, but this area here is wider. So I have an oval face, but I have a diamond face characteristic right here. So I'm going to put my contour according to an oval face, but in this area, I'm going to focus more on the diamond face. So you're going to analyze your face and contour accordingly. So let me show you how I do my contour and placement. Now, you don't want to put too much, so I'm going to put 3 dots right here. I'm going to stop right here. And with the bottom of the sponge, I'm going to blend it upward. Just like that. Look at the difference from this side to this side. This side is going to make my face appear a little thinner because of the contour. That is the purpose of the contour, to hide certain areas. I know on social media we see many influencers draw lines on their face with the contours and with the highlights. And if you're going to work quickly, it can work. But if you are a beginner, I would recommend that you do one area at a time, because by the time you finish blending out your cheek area, your forehead area might be dry already. Your nose area might be dry. The longer it sits on your face, the drier it's going to get. The drier it gets, the harder it is going to be to blend. You want to make sure that you blend it enough to where you don't see any harsh lines. Sometimes I will draw lines if I know I'm going to work fast. If I know that I'm not going to be talking, I'm not going to be explaining anything, then I can get away with it. But again, if you are a beginner, I wouldn't recommend it. Now, I told you guys before that my face is oval shaped, so I don't need too much contouring, but my forehead is a little bit on the bigger side. Although it has the shape, it is a little on the bigger side. So I am going to put a little bit of contour on my forehead, and I'm going to blend that outward towards my hairline by tapping that in. Now I might have put a little bit too much, but that is fine. Again, because I'm going to blend it enough. Now, remember I told you that eye part here is diamond shaped. So I'm actually going to add a dot of contour here and a dot of contour here, and also blend that out towards my hairline. To kind of make this area look smaller. Right here, I have this extra skin. I have a double chin. So I'm going to put contour here to make this part look smaller. Contour here to make this look smaller. And of course, on this side to make it look smaller. In 3 dots. Again, so that we won't put too much. You want to make sure you don't put too much product, because and then it's going to be harder to blend. It's easier to add product after you blend than to take product away once it's blended. And then this, we just bring it down, we blend it downward towards the neck. And now for the nose contour, you want to make sure that the line, if you're going to draw lines, that they are thin lines and that they are parallel. So you want to make sure that they are as straight as possible, that your contour is as straight as possible on your nose, because then you can make, if not, you can make your nose look crooked. I'm going to So I drew in 2 parallel lines right here in the middle, not too long, because remember, when you blend, you bring the product upward, and you want to make sure that you don't put too much product. I am going to blend also with the bottom of the sponge, but I'm going to try to be more careful. So I'm actually going to squeeze the sponge and blend that. So I'm going to blend it down. I'm going to blend it upwards towards the bottom of my eyebrow. Just like that. And then the other side. Is going to be the same. Now, if your nose is a little on the longer side and you want to make it look a little shorter, or if the tip of your nose goes downward, then a trick is to put contour. I'm going to put it in this area right here to make my nose look a little shorter and upward. Because remember, contour is to hide. So we're going to hide this part. And in a moment with the highlight, we're going to elevate this part. Now for the highlight part, just how the contour is used to hide certain areas, the highlight or the lighter shade is used to brighten up certain areas. I'm going to highlight this area right here by putting a little bit here, and this is going to help our contour look straighter. Blend that in. Blend that down and up to this corner right here as straight as possible. So again, because we are beginners, we're going to take a little longer to blend, and that is fine. You just want to make sure that you add the product as you go. Now, you also want to put some lighter concealer on the tip of your nose. Remember, we're hiding this part to make it look a little more elevated. So we are going to highlight the tip of your nose, and we're going to highlight the bridge of your nose. Just like that. Now, if you have a bump on your nose, you're not going to put concealer over the bump. You're going to put concealer under the bump and above the bump. And that's going to help kind of hide that little bump that you might have. If you add lighter concealer on top of your bump, then guess what? Just like we're brightening this area to kind of bring it out, you're going to emphasize that bump as well. So you want to make sure that you don't do that. Now, as far as the contour, those parallel lines, keep in mind that the closer the parallel lines, the thinner your nose is going to look. The wider the parallel lines are, the thicker your nose is going to look. So you're going to sculpt your nose depending on your nose shape or the look that you're going for. So that's why this line here is thinner. Although my nose is not big or is not too wide, I want to make it look still a little thinner. So I'm going to, with the point of my sponge, with the very tip, that very point of my sponge, I'm gonna go ahead and blend that. Now, I don't have a bump on my nose, so I am going to do a straight line. I'm going to bring it down a little bit and then bring it up a little bit. And then just blend it. This dot right here, I'm going to blend it in the same area. I'm not going to move it up. I'm not going to move it down. I'm just going to blend it in the same area. You're going to make a little exclamation point. Another area I want to highlight is going to be the forehead. Now we're not going to blend it too high up. We're just going to blend it where the contour is. Remember, if you blend it too high up, it's going to make your forehead look bigger. So you're going to blend it according to your face shape. If your forehead is a little on the smaller side, then you're going to bring up your lighter contour, your highlight, a little higher. If your forehead is on the bigger side, then you're going to blend it a little lower. So again, it's all depending on your face shape. I'm gonna go ahead and blend it up very little. In that oval shape, because remember, I'm going for an oval face shape. Usually you highlight this area of the eye as well to elongate this area, but keep in mind that my area right here is diamond shape. It's too wide. So I did already highlight right here. I'm going to put very little right here because I still want my eyes to be a little elongated, but not as far as they naturally are. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight right here. So if your eyes aren't as big as mine, then you might want to do a little triangle. So you're going to highlight here and then bring it this way so that your eyes can open up a little bit. I want to try to kind of bring that in. So I'm not going to blend this concealer this way. I'm going to blend it down this way. Also on this side, I'm not going to bring it outward. I'm going to kind of blend it in the same spot that it is. And then any excess product, I am going to bring it down here. Again, trying to avoid the bag area. Another area you want to either highlight or not, depending on your face shape, is going to be right here. It's going to be your chin. So I'm just going to add one dot right there and then blend it out. So again, if your chin is a little on the small side, then you're going to add more, then you're going to try to highlight it more. If your chin is a little bit on the big side, then you're going to want to add a little bit of contour right here to kind of hide part of it. So it is very important that you know what face shape you have, what characteristics from other face shapes you have as well. So nobody is going to be a perfect heart shape. Nobody's going to be a perfect oval shape. Nobody's going to be a perfect triangle shape to where you know exactly where you have to put your contour. You might be an overall one shape, but have characteristics of a different face shape. So you're going to highlight and contour accordingly. But you are a beginner, so it's going to be a lot of trial and error, and that is fine. So don't be hard on yourself, just keep practicing and you will get it. You don't always have to do cream contour. Cream contour is going to be more for like a nighttime makeup or for an event. We can contour and highlight with only powders. So this is a contour palette from Frankie Rose. Several companies have contour palettes, so don't feel that you have to have this one necessarily, because you don't. Now in this video, I'm not going to talk about bronzer so that we won't get confused. So I'm going to just grab some product. This is a Wet n Wild angled brush. So I'm just going to grab some product and in circular motions, I'm just going to bring that downward. So because I used cream contour already, I can just follow wherever I put that cream contour is where I'm going to put the powder contour. I'm going to set it with the powders. But if you're not going to use cream contour, then you want to make sure that you get from your hairline here to right here, crossing your eye. And of course, the other side as well, circular motions, and I'm going to stop right here. It's going to be the same in the same areas as your cream contour. With a smaller brush, I'm going to grab some of that contour and circular motions, and then just follow that line. Circular motions and follow that line. And then right here where we're trying to hide this and bring my nose to look a little upward. On the forehead, just right here on the sides. Now again, you don't have to use cream contour. You can start off with powder contour. Now I do want to point something out. My contour looks a little dark, or my contour is about 4 shades darker than my skin tone, because I want you to be able to see through the camera, because the camera washes it away a little. You don't want to overdo it. And now I'm gonna go ahead and set the highlight with powder as well. Very important for you to know your skin type. If your skin type is normal to dry or on the drier side, you're not going to use loose powder. Loose powder is used to mattify the skin. Loose powder is used to control oil. If your face does not produce extra oil, then you do not need to bake. I tend to be a little on the drier side, so I always set my concealers or set my highlight with pressed powders. This palette has pressed powders, so I'm not going to use a separate face powder. I'm going to go ahead and just use this. So if your skin has a yellow undertone, you can do a banana powder like this. But because I'm more on the neutral side, I can go with either this one. If you're lighter, of course, this one. I'm not that light, so I'm actually going to use this one. So I'm going to grab a powder brush and just a little bit of that powder, and I'm going to tap it on this area. So I'm going to use it to set my whole face. I'm not going to use bronzer because I want to make a separate video, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a blush. Not a lot of people like putting blush on, but I think it looks so pretty as long as you pick the right color according to your skin tone. I'm going to use the Hank & Henry blush. You can use whatever blush works best for your skin. I'm gonna go ahead and just place that right here. Again, tapping motions. Once I've placed down my color, you can either take off the excess and blend it. Now, the last part of this video is going to be the highlighter, which is going to be shimmer. With a highlight brush, I'm going to grab a little bit and I'm going to put that on the higher parts of my face. So right here, I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to put that down the bridge of my nose. Again, if you have a bump, you're going to put some before the bump and after the bump. I'm going to put some right here on that little dot, on my cupid's bow, and on my chin. Once I've tapped it in, take off the excess, and then I can go ahead and blend it. So that is it for the complexion for the face makeup. I hope you enjoyed and were able to follow along. Remember that if you learned something new or if you got value from this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, beauties.